Hey everyone, it's Mayanna and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be giving you all a little insight on how much it actually costs to apply to medical school, along with some tips that will make it cheaper for you. Let's go! Before I begin today's video, please give the like button down below some love, subscribe to keep up with my journey, and hit the bell icon so that you get notified every time that I upload. Alright, like I said, today I'm going to be giving you all information on the cost of applying to medical school. I remember attending a general pre-health meeting with my school's pre-health advisor, and her explicitly saying that this process was very expensive. Despite her warning, I ended up underestimating the overall cost of the process. During my application process, I kept track of all of my expenses, starting from my MCAT study materials and ending with buying a new blazer for interviews. While the process is very expensive, there are also many ways that you can save money and cut down the overall cost of it. So I'll be breaking down all of my expenses for you today and giving you some of the tips that I learned along the way that will make applying to medical school a much smaller financial burden. Okay, so the first thing that you will likely spend money on when thinking about applying to medical school will be MCAT study materials. There are a lot of different materials that you can get to succeed on the MCAT, but you can check out this video where I give you 10 MCAT study tips and talk about different studying materials. You will probably want to get a set of books, some flashcards, some practice problems, and a few practice exams for your MCAT preparation. In total, for my MCAT preparation, I spent $435. I decided to save a little bit of money on this part of the process by buying my Kaplan books and flashcards secondhand from someone that I know. My friend only had me pay for shipping, and it ended up being only $30 for all of those materials. The books I used were from 2017 and they still did the trick. So buying prior year materials is still valuable because they have much of the same information for a much cheaper price. Current year book sets run for about $300 and prior year materials are about half price if you buy them brand new. So buying used and buying older materials are probably your easiest ways to save money when it comes to the MCAT. I also bought 6-month access to the Kaplan Adaptable Quiz Bank, which is an online quiz bank that has lots of practice problems for each subject on the MCAT. The question bank was also bundled with 3 full-length Kaplan exams that costed me around $250 near Black Friday. I also ended up purchasing 4 full-length practice exams along with the CARS Volume 1 question pack on the AAMC website. The practice tests were $35 a piece and the question pack was $15, bringing my total MCAT preparation cost to $435. I also utilized the free Khan Academy MCAT videos on YouTube to aid in my preparation. Make sure that you check out the description down below because I linked all of these resources for you. The next thing that you will need to pay for is the actual MCAT exam. The cost of the exam is $320 and you will pay this on the day that you register for your test date. Keep in mind that rescheduling your date depending on how close it is to the actual test date will cost you more money. So this is another incentive to choose a date and stick to it. Also, if you are from a smaller town like me, chances are you will have to drive a little bit to get to a testing center. For this reason, I reserved a hotel room to stay in the night before my exam. And this ended up being about $134 when you consider the meals I had to buy. This brought my actual MCAT exam and hotel expenses up to $454. After taking the MCAT, you will start to build your primary application. The AMCAS application costs $170 to apply to your first school and $41 for each additional school. The AACOMAS application costs $196 to apply to your first school and $46 to apply to each additional school. I applied to 5 MD schools through AMCAS, which ended up costing me $334. I also applied to 17 DO schools through AACOMAS, which costed me $932. Adding those two values together, I ended up spending $1,266 when applying to 22 medical schools. If you and your family are unable to pay for the MCAT and your medical school applications, you can apply for the AAMC Fee Assistance program. The program aids in covering the cost for the MCAT and your applications for those who would otherwise be unable to take the test or apply to medical school. I put a link down in the description that will take you to this part of the AAMC website, and check it out if you want more information or to see if you qualify for the program. Spending over $1,000 on primary applications seemed like so much money to me, but to my surprise, secondaries were even worse. My secondary application cost per school ranged anywhere from $50 to $200. Some schools do aid students during their secondaries who are in the fee assistance program, but at the same time, some schools do not. I only submitted 21 secondary applications, and it ended up costing me $1,500 even. Around the same time that you receive secondary application invitations, medical schools will inform you if they require any additional materials for your review, like taking the Casper Test. The Casper Test is used to assess your situational judgment skills, and it costs $12 to take the test. You will then have to pay an additional $12 to send your scores to each of the medical schools that require it. It's important to note that Casper is an international company, so any charges that you make to your bank account will likely also have an international withdrawal fee. I spent $88 on the Casper test, which covered the cost of taking the exam, sending my results to 6 schools, and the international transaction fees. Finally, after taking the MCAT, submitting my primary and secondary applications, and taking the Casper test, I was prepared for interviews. I bought myself a new blazer and a new pair of pants, which costed me $43. I shopped in the clearance section at Kohl's and used a 30% off coupon, which made it even cheaper. My blazer was originally $90 and I only paid $21 for it. My interview season was also a little bit different than what is traditionally done during non-COVID times, and that's because my interviews were virtual. Normally, you would have to book flights and book a hotel to go and see the schools on your interview days. It was a little sad not to see the schools before deciding, but I did save a lot of money with interviews being virtual. Ultimately, I hope that medical schools keep this kind of interview around because it does significantly reduce the financial burden that applicants face. Adding all of my expenses together, I spent a grand total of $3,786 on applying to medical school. I hope that my transparency helps you all prepare for applying to medical school, and that some of my tricks for making the process a little bit cheaper assist you along the way. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions or a video idea. And make sure to check out the other videos on my channel, like this one where I break down my entire AMCAS application. This video is coming out a few days later than originally planned. But for the remainder of January, I will continue to post every Wednesday and Saturday. Once my school starts back up on February 1st, I will be posting every Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's all I've got for you today. See ya!